Huh? That's strange. I can't move. I'm sorry, Prince. I'll just need some rest. Oh, Prince, why are you looking at me like that? Don't you know it's finally over? Let's go home, okay? The princess is waiting for you, just like before. You, the princess, everybody. Just fine.
That is also the power of the Sun Rune. The Sun Rune can be a fearful light of destruction, but it can also be a source of mercy that fosters life. Both the Dawn Rune and the Twilight Rune determine how the power of the Sun Rune manifests itself. You united the hearts of those guided by the stars and gave proper form to the destiny of the three runes. Now the Sun Rune will surely become a light that will bless the future of this land.
It appears the Senate has accepted its dissolution. Great news! Replacing the Senate with a parliament with representatives from each town. Sounds like hard work. I bet those dwarves are going to be stubborn. I don't care. They're Falanans, so they need to be a part of it. Absolutely. After what Lord Godwin tried to do, the dwarves and beavers will always have a voice. And we can't forget the princess's official coronation ceremony. I'm ready anytime. It doesn't have to be a big whoop, you know. No, that just won't do, little Lim. Such things must be done properly, lest we be mocked by other nations. An official peace envoy will be arriving from Armes in the next few days. The Sun Palace must be spotless upon their arrival, and there's no time to waste, is there? Huh, I can't decide which one of them gets on my nerves more. Where is that brother of mine? Just when I really need him.
Are you sure about this? Well then. Looks like I was actually able to keep my promise to Farid.
George, your eye!
Ah, yes. My eye. Well, I was injured in battle long ago, as I said. But I didn't lose my eyesight. I can see just fine. The eye patch was just to remind myself to never get overconfident.
What? Are you serious? Why didn't you ever tell us?
Don't be mad.
Oh.
Oh, by the way, I've decided to leave Falena.
What? But why all of a sudden?
No matter what the circumstances, the fact remains that I killed the Queen. I can't remain in this country after having committed such an act.
George.
So, what plans do you two have?
This actually is only choosable in the 108 Stars of Destiny ending. You can choose to either stay and help Lim, or you can choose to join George on his journey. If you do not get the 108 Stars ending, no choice for you, it's automatically made. So this is the only time that you actually get to choose. We are going to look at the best ending, because, well, we've gotten all 108 stars, Lim likes us, so yeah, we're going to stick around.
I see. I'm sure you two are going to do a great job.
George. Take care, okay?
Thanks.
All is as it should be.
Yes, I'm sure nothing like that will ever happen again.
Indeed.
Holy crap, Zarase smiled! And then she vanished.
Huh?
And that's all. The policies of the new parliament are supported by the majority of the citizens. I see. Thank you. But there's one more thing. Yes? Among our people, there's an ever-increasing hope that you'll get married soon. It's not easy being so beloved, is You're enjoying this, aren't you? Don't be ridiculous. I've decided no more sacred games. I'll choose my own husband. Your Majesty? Anyone. There is no hurry for that. We already have a fine commander of the Queen's Knights. Am I right?
Alright, as we close out, we get to see the biographies of all of the characters in Suikoden 5. Friador's, of course, will change depending on what you get as far as Stars of Destiny are concerned. I'm not going to try to read these out because honestly, they don't stay on screen quite long enough for me to do so, but you can obviously read them for yourselves. If you want to pause and read them, by all means, go right ahead. I can at least read them fast enough. I can't read them out fast enough, so I'll let you guys read them for yourself. I find it interesting, and you'll notice there are a couple of different connections between Suikoden 5 and what comes to follow, particularly when it comes to, say, the Prince, George, Killy, Lorelei, characters ultimately that we see in other Suikoden games. Of course, we don't see the Prince again, but George and Lorelei and Killy and others are essentially recycled characters. So we do get to see little hints that, hey, they do in fact appear later, because keep in mind, Suikoden 5 is set around a decade before the events of essentially the war with the Scarlet Moon Empire that of course is the setting for Suikoden 1. Alright, so I guess I'll go ahead and start giving my impressions, because I can do that obviously now and through the credits. I do want to also note, Norma, Ernst, and Levi's profiles change. If you do not recruit Norma and Ernst, Levi does something else. If you don't recruit Levi, Norma and Ernst try to free themselves of the rune's curse, but actually you can't recruit... Hang on, never mind. If you don't recruit Norma and Ernst, Levi says something different. You can't recruit Norma and Ernst without Levi, so scratch what I just said. Anyhow, so my thoughts on the game. As I believe I mentioned, I'm pretty sure I mentioned, at the beginning of this Let's Play, I can't believe we're at the end of it already, holy crap. As I mentioned at the beginning of this Let's Play, this was the first Suikoden game I ever played. I know it's weird that I played the last main Suikoden game first and then went backwards from there, but that's just kind of how I did it. And this game is good. I think if this had been, say, maybe if this had been Suikoden 4, instead of Suikoden 4 being Suikoden 4, at least from what I know of the game's reception and such, I think if this had been Suikoden 4, I think the series might still be going. Or at the very least, this series might be in better odor, shall we say. Because from what I've read about this game, although this game is good, it is, at least to me, one of the better Suikoden games in the series, but then again, I haven't played all 5, so I couldn't really tell you. I think Suikoden 5's reception and sales and ultimate appeal was weakened substantially by how poorly Suikoden 4 was received. So I would tend to think that if this game had come first, and both games were on the PS2, so it could very well have happened that way, I would suppose. But if this game had come first, if this had been Suikoden 4, I think the series would have worked out a good bit better, overall. I don't know that, obviously, that's just in the realm of speculation, but that's my thought. But I enjoyed this game overall. It's very firmly in the traditional Suikoden mindset in a lot of ways. The army battles can get a bit hectic, but that's kind of part of the show. The characters are pretty good. You get the opportunities to flesh them out if you want to, obviously with the 108 stars. And of course, as we noticed, some of them have very, very deep backstories in relation to Felena and the organizations of Felena and the like. Graphics were fairly good for PS2, although, I mean, this is the same PS2 that had, say, Final Fantasy X and Final Fantasy XII, so Suikoden 5 loses that battle pretty much every time, but it's still pretty good for what it is. Music was good. I mean, I've mentioned probably more times than you guys can care to hear that I love different segments of this soundtrack. And I think the producers did a good job of integrating a lot of different themes into it in various ways, to some degree which still evokes the old Suikoden music, but also set Felena's music on a path of its own. The gameplay was fine. The one critique that I have to some degree, and this is only to a small degree, is the encounter rate, which is a little higher than I would have liked. That being said, though, I've heard so much about how much worse Suikoden 4's encounter rate is that I'm rather fortunate I didn't run into anything like that. But overall, yeah, this is a pretty good game. I enjoyed it greatly, and I hope you guys did too. Making an extensive Let's Play like this is, of course, a good bit of preparation and work, and there are some things that I wish I could have done better, as with any Let's Play. The fact that I'm running this on a PS2 emulator produced occasional issues. The fact that I chose to do it widescreen, I largely still am fine with, but I could also see where that produced a couple of issues as well. But overall, I think it went pretty well. If I had to do it again, I would have gotten even more meticulous in my notes than I did. With, for instance, things like enemy HP and weaknesses. I didn't have those in here, and I kind of wish I did. I probably would have tried to go into a larger multitude of sources to try to find my information, because I did draw from a few sources, from Suikosource and Suikoden Wiki, from 29 Rooks' FAQ, which was a large part of the information that I gleaned. Also, I got some information from the LP archive of Suikoden 5, which was especially helpful, I will add, in regards to figuring out the outro music. Because every post, every episode of the LP archive of it has, for the most part, has all the music linked in to YouTube playthroughs, of course, or to YouTube listings of the music. And that helped me a lot when I couldn't pin down what song happened when, so that I could include it in the outros. Other than that, though, I mean, aside from my usual qualms that I have with my own commentary, which I feel is mediocre at best, I think this went alright. It's not, I think, the best comprehensive Let's Play that I've done, because, I mean, I don't know. I think it's the best in terms of just sheer information, but I don't know necessarily if it was the best in terms of delivery. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say. Obviously, if y'all want to chime in on this, then of course feel free. But I always feel like there's work to do. And I think every Let's Player, streamer, what have you, feels that way. If you feel like you are at your highest peak, you've reached perfection, whatever, that's usually when things kind of start to go wrong. So I think any Let's Player or streamer who's not utterly vain is going to be aware of their issues, and maybe for me, my over-insecurities, but c'est la vie, and strive to correct those accordingly. As for thoughts on the future, well, before we get to the credits themselves, where I want to talk about my next project a little bit, I want to talk a little bit about what I wish had been. And that is, I wish there'd been a Suikoden 6. And I wish that a Suikoden 6, if it was, say, on the PS3, 360, or even PS4, Xbox One, I wish that a Suikoden 6 would tie together the entire world of whatever the world's called. I think that would be a great adventure, and I think it would be an excellent way to close out the Suikoden series. Because I think once you get this sort of world-spanning adventure that has been hinted at a little bit, that would be a good way to close it. Or alternately, if there was a Suikoden 6, there are a number of different areas that can be explored that haven't yet been. The Kingdom of Zealand, for instance, to, I believe, the east, the Far East. You have the Wilhelm's Mercenary Brigade is from there, I believe. You've got the Western Island, which has largely not been explored at all, from what I can tell. You've obviously got more with the Island Nations, because Suikoden 4 is set in the past in the Island Nations, but you've still got the present. You've got Armes, you've got Nagareya, which is only very barely hinted at in Suikoden 5. And then, of course, you've obviously got the nations of the northern continent. You've got the Tauren Republic, you've got the Dunan Republic after Suikoden 2, you've got Grasslands in Suikoden 3, and I've not played that yet, so no spoilies, please. I do plan to at some point, just haven't yet. So there's plenty of potential, I think, for a number of different areas to factor into this. I mean, conceivably, what you could see out of a modern-day Suikoden 6 would be... I mean, Belkut is a Konokan swordsman. You could see Konokan come into play. You could see the Western continent be perhaps the home of another unprecedented rune or something of that ilk. I don't know. I'm just throwing things out there, really. You could also see kind of the rise of Nagarea again. Maybe Nagarea finds out a way to open up the pass with Falena and then stages an invasion of Falena or tries to perhaps link up with the Holy Kingdom of Harmonia for some sort of broad global conflict. Who knows? I mean, there's any number of directions I think that this game could still, or that a Suikoden 6 could go in. Now, the likelihood of there being a Suikoden 6 is pretty much zero, unfortunately, because this was the final main game in the Suikoden series. There were other games that would come after it, but none of them are considered, I think, technically main games per se. You've got Suikoden Tactics, you've got Suikoden Tierkreis, but I don't think the will is there, particularly given that Konami has gone in an entirely different direction, to do another Suikoden game, and I think that's a shame. Particularly with the way that modern RPGs have begun to transition in many senses, particularly the Final Fantasy series. I think a more traditional JRPG like a Suikoden would be welcome in this atmosphere, particularly if it were given the focus that I feel something like that deserves. If it were a AAA title, so to speak. That's almost certainly not going to happen, though, unfortunately. So this is all really just kind of pipe dreaming, but hey, I mean, allow an old fart his pipe dreaming, I suppose. As for how I would rate this game in regards to the rest of the Suikodens that I've played, I've not played 3 and I've not played 4, so take that into consideration. I think you're probably going to go 2-5-1. Suikoden 2 I played, God, almost 3 years ago now. Holy crap, it's been 3 years. But that was an excellent game, even with its problems. Translation issues, glitches, etc. It's a really good game. And if somehow you haven't played Suikoden 2 yet, go play it. Seriously, go play it. Or you can watch my Let's Play of it too, but I prefer you play it first, because it's a really good game. Then come back and watch my Let's Play. Which I did blind, by the way. Okay, so as for what's going to happen next, well, actually, by the time you watch this video, you'll have already found out. Because right after I get done recording this, I'm going to record the vlog and post it on YouTube. And that's going to reveal what my next project is. But somehow, if you decide to watch this video before watching the vlog, I will say, not what it is exactly, but it is going to be something very different for me. Meaning, totally different genre and everything. Because I kind of had on my mind for the last couple of months or so that I wanted to do something a bit different. And so I'm going to. It's going to be something different in regards to the genre and content. It's also going to be something different in regards to the release schedule, because unlike what I typically do with these Let's Play videos, which is 3 days a week, I'm going to be doing a daily release, which is going to be its own kind of crazy, because I'm going to have to be editing and getting things ready a few days in advance still, which that's not a surprise. But I'm going to have to continue to do it throughout the duration of how long that I play this game. So, we'll see. I hope it will work well. I'm not sure yet. I mean, because obviously I haven't even started recording it, much less seen its reception or anything of that ilk. So, who knows? It could work really well. It could just totally bomb. We don't know. But it's going to be an interesting little experiment. Now, as for what I want my next RPG project to be, which is going to happen probably sometime in the fall, I have to admit, I'm still not entirely sure yet. And to some degree, this is part of why I'm doing what I'm going to be doing in the summer, because I don't really know. Essentially, I'm down to 2 games, I think. Maybe 3. But I've still got to make a decision. Ultimately, if I choose one of a couple of those 3 games, it is going to be another full-on, intensive playthrough. And it will, of course, come with what you would expect. Notes, it taking probably a few months, etc. If I choose the 3rd game, it's probably going to be a bit shorter, I would expect. I don't know, because I would be playing that game blind. But, like I said, I'm still trying to figure that out. Because, I for whatever reason, I don't know why, but this year, just in particular, I've been a little less decisive as to my projects, because typically, I know what my projects are going to be several months in advance. I've already figured out what I'm going to do, and I go ahead and start preparing. This time, though, not so much. And I'm not sure what it is. Maybe it's just because I'm more active now, and have more energy, have been doing more things, so maybe I just haven't had the time necessarily to devote to just planning, I guess, or thinking about these sort of things that you kind of do when you're slowed down. I don't know. I'm not sure what it is, or maybe just because there's so many good options, I can't freaking make up my mind, but yeah, I'm still thinking about it. Just to kind of give you guys an idea as to what I'm thinking about as far as the games are concerned, the 3 games in question, the 2 comprehensive games would be either Chrono Cross or Lost Odyssey on the 360. Chrono Cross, obviously, on the PlayStation. The 3rd game would be Citizens of Earth, and that would be blind, because I ain't touched it. I've got it in my stream library, but I ain't done nothing with it yet. And, like I said, I'm honestly not sure which I'm going to choose. And I'm not sure when I'll know which one I'm going to choose, to be quite honest. If it's Chrono Cross or Lost Odyssey, I'm going to have to make that decision pretty soon, because, well, I've got to start getting ready for it. And I want to do more of what I did with Suikoden 5, which is, before moment 1 of this Let's Play began, I had my notes almost entirely filled out. Almost everything was ready to go. And I want to keep doing that. I want that to be the case for my next Let's Play. For my next comprehensive Let's Play. But I'm not really sure. I'm really not sure at all. So, obviously, if you guys want to help chime in, feel free, of course. As for the decision, of course, ultimately it'll be my own. It's unlike what I ended up doing, ironically, with Suikoden 2. I'm not going to leave that up to an audience. Now, granted, that was one of the best decisions they could have made, because it is actually the audience that I consulted at the Let's Play Sanctuary who decided that I should do Suikoden 2 blind, which I had played up to, as it turned out, the first 3 episodes of the Let's Play, but that's it. And that ended up being one of the best experiences I've ever had, so maybe that's a note for the future, I guess. Alright, but now that we get to the logos here, we're almost done. That is effectively it for Suikoden 5. It's been quite the ride, and thank you guys for coming with me. I hope you all have enjoyed it as much as I have. But we're not quite done just yet. Because, after you get done with Suikoden 5, there is a little bit more that I want to show you before we finish. Also, as a little bit of a side note, if you guys want to see any bonus content, the bath scenes, for instance, all the double techs, the other endings of the game, let me know, and I'll record them separately. I've already got the 61, or the 61 to 107 star ending queued up to be able to record. The bath scenes would take a good bit of work. The double text would take a good bit of work. But if you guys want me to do it, I will. It would just take a bit of time for me to get them together. But anyway, there is one last thing I want to show you. And that is, once you finish the game, you can save a clear file. And I'm going to do so on top of this file here, which was I forget exactly why I saved that file there. But anyway, oh, right. I think I saved this whenever we showed off the Urim recruitment. So we're going to save over that. And that is now a clear file of completed game data. You can tell, for one, because it tells you, and secondly, because the name is in green. And if you decide to dial that one back up here, let's go ahead and do that. You will be able to restart the game. However, we're not actually going to use that file per se because, well, I'm going to use another one that is also a cleared save file. And that's not this one, because if we started this one, you'd have to see everything all over again. Instead, we're going to choose this one, which is, you notice I did this one about 3 years ago, so yeah, go figure. Anyway, if you load this second save file, or this cleared save file here, there are a number of things I want to show you that go along with it. Among them, well, you don't get your levels, sorry, but you do get to take some other things with you. You notice 10.8 million potch. Your money comes with you, as does your party SP, not your personal SP, so spend all that, but your party SP comes with you. In addition, you get to keep a lot of your items. You don't get to keep all of them. Your story items do not stick around. The sun armor you can't take with you because you probably have it equipped on the prince anyway, and it won't let you get it anyhow. The blinking mirror can't come with you. The story important items essentially do not come with you, but you notice all of your tactics come with you, as well as all of your epic skills that you have. Every single one of them, all of your combat and tutor stuff comes with you. So if you bring enough party SP, once you first get access to your skill upgraders at Solthalena, you can go ahead and start upgrading your skills to boy howdy mode. Not only that, but every piece of inventory that is in your inventory itself, that is in your party items, that all comes with you. That includes your healing items, that includes your stones, that includes your weapons and armor, or well, your armor rather. And so you can essentially kit yourself out like crazy right at the beginning of the game. That includes corruption shells and saints cloaks, so pack those babies along too. You buy a bunch of saints cloaks, you can equip your party with the best armor in the game right off the bat if you want to. That also includes any runes that you might have, so if you want to get your party equipped with specific runes from the start, you can do that too if you want to. Another thing that I will also mention is, yeah, your skills come with you, as I mentioned. Your formations come with you, and anything that you have that's already well set, you might want to go ahead and equip. Alright, so yeah, you come with a very good preparation there. Another thing that you also have, and I will admit, I will go ahead, I like to give credit where credit's due. Mr. Toasty actually told me this in the middle of this Let's Play. I did not know this until the middle of the Let's Play, and that is, not only do you get the benefit of all that great stuff and your party SP and all that, you also get extra walking speed. Yeah, that walking speed that you could enjoy with Cathari in your party, you have all the time now by holding down triangle when you run. Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? And I don't know what would happen if you actually put Cathari in your party with that. I haven't played through long enough to find out. Let's see, is there anything else that comes with this that I need to mention? I don't think so. Well, I have no SP to move around, obviously. But you notice you've got all your formations here. Now, you can't... Well, actually, you could use every formation and stick Siley right in the back where she belongs. Well, I mean, she has more of a magical type with not much good physical defense. Not just because she's a girl. Actually, it's not because she's a girl at all, incidentally. You can also get your formation skills. You notice Quad Lightning there, which you can also use if you want to. So all of that comes with you to help make these playthroughs a lot easier. Or a lot faster, at least. So that's your New Game Plus, it's in a nutshell. If you want to prepare for this, obviously, bring as much money as you can. Not that you're going to need 10.8 million pots, particularly if you come with armor already ready. Oh, yeah, one more thing, sorry. I forgot to note. Not only does the stuff in your party inventory come with you, the stuff in your stored inventory actually does too, but keep in mind that you cannot reference that until you get Chuck. So keep that in mind. But you can bring that stuff with you too, it just comes along a little bit later. Alright, so in order to prepare for this, obviously bring as much money as you can, bring as much party SP as you can, bring the best stuff that you got in your party inventory. Because if you do, you'll be able to marshal it almost immediately. And that effectively will wrap it up. If there is a next time on Suikoden 5, we will see each other then with bonus content of whatever you choose. If not, then, well, I will see you guys when we get to our next Let's Play. So, thank you guys for joining me in Falena for the final time, and I'll see y'all in our new project.